Hey y'all, welcome to Chaotic Crafting with Jay Wu. I am Jessica Wooten, one of the admins of the group. You may also see Latasha pop in as well. She is my cousin. We are going to do this group together and show you guys a little bit what we have learned over the years, our do's and don'ts on sublimation as well as vinyl crafting. There will be a lot of times that you may make mistakes. It is okay. We all make mistakes. I still make mistakes till this day, but we are here to learn together. We're not here to judge anyone. We're just here to learn to craft and to join as a community. Just a little bit about myself. I am still a full-time worker working 40 plus hours a week. I do also have two businesses on the side. I have J Wu Creations, and then I have Blanks by Wu. Blanks by Wu is my blank sublimation company, and J Wu Creations is my custom design place. So if you have anyone looking for any custom items, I do socks, t-shirts, glasses, everything. So I do those as well. Blanks, like I said, Sublimation Blanks. I am trying to get more vinyl stuff as well into my store. Blanks by Wu, but I do have them both online up and running. So all orders can be placed there. As of today, which is July the 18th, I am currently sold out of all of my tumblers, and I have, I think, 3 kid tumblers left. Little things kind of fell short as I've been planning for vacation and basically working overtime. I kind of forgot to order my shipment as I was getting low. So I am out of stock for now for a little bit. And I do have about 5 30-ounce cups left, I'm sorry. So I do have 30-ounce sublimation tumblers available if you would like to try those. Website, www.blanksbywu.com. You can save 15% today by signing up on the email. So those can be applied. And I usually try to do same-day shipping as well if possible. As I was stating, we are here to learn. Latasha and I have been doing this for about a year, almost 2 years now. So we've kind of seen a little bit of, about what's going on with sublimation and how everything kind of works and gotten a good grasp on this crafting industry. Sublimation has taken off this past year or so. During this pandemic, it has been one of the hugest crafting industries as there are. But right now, like I said, we want you guys to join in with us, get some of this money while it's out here, and enjoy. Like I said, sublimation is a technique, easy technique. If you know how to do vinyl, then you definitely know how to do sublimation. There are lots of designs out there that you don't have to do yourself, that you can just purchase, because there are a lot of artists out there selling their work. So don't let that be a factor for you not wanting to join this crafting world. But sublimation is a dye transfer process. It is heat activated, and it only works on the polyester substrate. I don't say only, but it works mainly on a polyester substrate. It does not work on cotton, but you have people still trying to develop a way that it does go on cotton. Like you have the, I think it's like cotton sub or something like that, where you have to print it out on the sheet and then paste it and then sub it on that way. But you cannot directly sub on cotton without it being some other technique involved into it. But otherwise, like I say, it's just heat activated. As long as you have a heat press, you will have to have a heat press. An iron would not work for this process. A heat press or easy press is something of that nature. Heat press is preferred to kind of save you some time, but those items will be required. In just a few minutes, I will go over a list of items that you will need, as well as go into detail about those particular things. I just wanted to basically touch bases, finally show my face who do not know me. Some of you guys on here are my friends, actually from my local home, but a lot of you guys are from other areas. California, I think I've seen a few people from Canada, so kind of a little bit of scattered, a little bit of everywhere, which is perfectly fine for me. I'm always usually available by email. You can DM me. You can go onto my website and do the chat box, do Shopify chat. So like I said, I'm always available. I do answer those back within at least about 5 to 6 hours, sometimes less. I usually am checking my email throughout the day for other important items. But 9 to 5, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, Eastern time, I'm usually am working. Like I said, 40 hours, I do have a full-time job, so I usually am working around those times. But I do check my email, so that's still fine if you email me. If you're looking for a phone call, then you won't talk to me till after 6, sometimes 7 o'clock, because I may have to work overtime as well. I am currently working from home, but it still makes no difference. I'm working just as much as from home than I have been in the office. Getting back to the sublimation things, just to start off by what you may need if you don't already have it to kind of get started with sublimation. Like I said, it is a very easy crafting thing once you get into the groove of it. You will have lots of mistakes, no matter how long you have been doing crafting, no matter how long you have been doing sublimation, you're still going to have issues. You're still going to make errors. So don't feel discouraged in any way when you make a mistake. Just redo it, take your time, and see what you did wrong. It's all a learning curve. Like I said, I've been doing this for a year now, and I still make mistakes to this day. I just did these stocks for a customer. I got to redo them because I forgot, because I was in a rush to move my line over, so I have this white line on the side. So I cannot sell that to him. That's not my quality. It's supposed to be covered. So I'm going to redo these, and then I'll be able to give them to him. So now I got me a appreciation thing, and as you see, my pressure was off as well. So just a few things that you're going to have to learn, and you're just going to have to, just like I said, take your time. Mistakes will happen. You're gonna do that. When you do buy your blanks, buy a few more extra to cover those errors that you may have, so that you're not left in a pickle where you cannot provide your product to your customer as promised. But like I said, don't quit, just learn, keep learning. It's always going to be a learning thing, just like you go to school. School is never ending process. No matter when you graduate, you're still learning about the world. When you leave, you go to your job, you're learning more. So it's always a learning process to get better, to always get better skills, to know better. So keep learning, keep putting your feet in different things, keep researching, keep doing what you have to do to be successful. But like I said, to start off with this list of things that you may need for sublimation. First thing you will need will be a printer. This printer will have to be one that can be converted to sublimation or is already doing sublimation. So if you have something of that nature, cool, you're already good to go. If not, we're gonna go in detail about what type of printers there are available and what's not available. Sublimation ink is number 2. Number 3, you will definitely need sublimation paper. This is a special paper that you will have to need. Some people state that they use copy paper to do it. I have not yet tested that theory, but that is something that we can do on a live one day to test it and see if copy paper does work as it stated. I'm pretty sure it does not get off that cool, that very colorful, vibrant color that you usually get from sublimation paper, but it may work because, like I said, the ink is printed on the paper, and the ink is basically a heat activated thing. So if we just put heat that paper, it may just transfer over to that image, to that item, but I don't know because I have not tested the theory. Next, you will need sublimation blanks. There are different things. You have shirts, you have mugs, you have tiles. When I say tiles, you have the stone tiles. I forgot what they're called, but you have acrylics you can do sublimation on. Just about anything. I myself, like I said, I am a sublimation blanks company. I have foam grips, I have journals, I have frames, I have keychains, blankets, stoles, passport holders, wallets, like a little bit of everything. And I am going to be spending more getting like men's ties, so I do want to spend a little bit more. But like I said, sublimation can be done on anything. You will need either a computer or tablet to do these items as well. Once you do it, Epson, if you get an Epson printer, they do have the online version or the web app version of this on your phone where you can print from your phone. I've never used it, but I've heard that it is okay. It is not just like the printer thing, but it works. So if that's what you want to do, then you can try printing from your phone, but it is preferred that you have a computer or a tablet. As stated earlier, you will need a heat press. We'll talk about the different sizes here shortly. I'm going to show you a few different items that you can purchase and what I purchased and I'll tell you what Latasha has, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, she'll come in and introduce herself one day and do a little bit more about who she is and what she does and what she specializes in as well. You will need heat tape, and there's also a heat tape dispenser, just like a tape dispenser. It is optional, but I do recommend it. But you will need that as well, because like I said, when you are doing your sublimation, you have this image in your hand, you're facing it down. You want to just be able to pull it off and just tape it as you go. You will need non-wax butcher paper. I will show you where you can purchase those as well and where I got mine from. And I still have it. And I also have a little stand, which I will show you on a later date, because my stuff is a little bit scattered. I have about 3 different workstations, but I have a little stand that I bought from IKEA at the kids section that I use to cut my butcher paper in. Baby, when I say it's a lifesaver, it was $10 versus this $40, $50 metal stand that everybody's been talking about. Mine's $10, wooden, and it works. I can color it if I want to, but I'm good. Heat resistant gloves is necessary because your items will be hot when you try to pull them off the heat press. Like I said, that is going to be a necessary item. You're going to need software to design. There are lots of different software. We will go into detail about those as well. And then, like I said, have a designated work area because your heat press is going to be big. You're going to have this big old printer in there. So if you don't have a spare bedroom or she shed, which I don't have yet, but I do plan on investing in one soon, you can get a portion of your living room, get a portion of your kitchen if you're okay with that. Just depends on what works for you. You don't need a whole lot of space to do this. You can make it work in what you have, because you don't want to break your bank trying to get your business started. But you can kind of explain as you go along, as I did. So just to kind of dig more into the tips, like I said, we need a printer, you need ink, you need paper, you need blanks, sublimation blanks. At that, it have to have that special coating of sublimation or be out of a certain textile. You need a computer or a tablet. Your cell phone may work, but it's not recommended. You need a heat press. You need heat tape or a whip heat dispenser. A heat tape dispenser if you have it. If not required, but at least a heat tape, you have to have it. And we'll talk more about that as well. You need butcher paper, non-wax, heat gloves, software to design and to cut your items, as well as a work area. So just to get started with tip number 1, a printer that can do sublimation or can be converted. As I stated before, there are lots of printers that are available to do sublimation. When I started sublimation, Epson was the go-to company for this because they were cheap printers. I'm not going to say cheap. They were kind of cheaper than the normal sublimation printers, but you can convert it with ink for about $60, one time $60, and then you're good to go because the ink bottles only cost $4 a piece, which I will show you about those here shortly as well. But you need to make sure your printer can be converted before you try to do anything, but there are only certain ones because you have to have a certain printer head on your printers before you can do those. So just make sure you kind of pay attention to the list that I have posted in our group, Chaotic Crafting with Jay Wu. I will be updating that name to include Latasha, but that is what it is at this time. Epson has gotten a hold of the trend of sublimation. So they have also started creating their own sublimation printers. So you can be on the lookout for those as well, which I'll show you what they are. But right now, we're going to talk about what was available. I'm going to share my screen with you guys to show you a few other things that were on the Epson website. Like I stated, they do have different ones, but we'll see what's available. This printer here is the newly released Epson sheer color dye sublimation printer. As I stated to you, Epson kind of got a hold of the sublimation industry a little late when they noticed that the printers were selling and that people were basically using them to convert them to sublimation. So they went ahead and made their own little small sublimation printer and started selling the sublimation on their own as well. This is the model F170 dye printer sublimation. It is one of the newer ones, and they also have the F570. As you can see, the sublimation printer is $399. So like I said, this thing into the crafting business of sublimation, it does take a little bit to invest in it to get started. But once you get started, you start getting orders coming in, you start getting more clients, that money starts rolling in, the stuff pays for it for itself. Myself, my items, I have 2 different crafting machines. I have a heat press and a printer. All my items were basically paid for within like 2 months time. Because sometimes you will get big orders, and when those big orders roll in, hey, it's nothing. So my items were basically paid for. But this is the Epson F710. And then you have the Epson F570, which is also another one of their printers that does sublimation. Probably should have clicked the other one. This is one of the large format printers. You see that price, $2,800. Everybody has been buying these. It does print up to 24-inch. Most of the other large format printers or wide format printers print up to 19 inches, which is what I have. But this here is a 24-inch. I would love to have one, but that investment, I ain't ready for that price right now. So that's way down the line. Because right now my 13 by 19 does what it's supposed to do. I don't do a whole lot of all over print, so I don't mind slicing and dicing up some paper and pasting it together. So that's fine by me. So this is your sheer curler here. These here are the Epson Workforce Series printers. These were the printers that were most popular during the time of the pandemic. You have at least 19 different workforce printers that were being used at one point in time for sublimation, or that could be converted to sublimation. You do have your 2630, which is one. I don't know if they have that anymore. It may be discontinued. You had a 2650. You had a 2750. You had a 2760. You had a 2860. You have a, which is this one here, your 2860. As you can see, it was $129 and sold out. You have your 3540. You have your 3620, a 3640. You have your 7010. 7010 was your most popular one as far as the workforce printers go for sublimation. That printer between the 7110 and the 7210 were basically neck and neck. So if you were able to get that, then I'm sorry, the 7710 and the 7720, I'm sorry. Those were the very ones. I myself have a 7620, I want to say it is. It's not the most popular one. It was the one right before that. I got it on the sale for like $129 brand new. So I jumped on the deal because it does everything it's supposed to do. It just had a smaller screen, which I don't need to see the screen that much. I hit one button and boom, it's done. So I didn't need to go and invest $300. Or at the time when I was buying my printer, some people were charging $500 for these printers, which is ridiculous because you could have gotten them on Epson when they came back in stock for like $300, sometimes $200 if they were on sale. But continuing to what we have, you have your 7010, your 7710, your 7210, 7510, 7520, 7610, 7620, 7710, 7720, which were your two most popular during the pandemic, your 7820 and your 7840. All those numbers listed were printers in the Workforce series that you could have used to convert. As stated, most of them may be out of stock at this time, as this is a 7820, but you can check the Epson website from time to time. They will post them here. They will post them in their clearance section, or they may have a refurbished one where you can find it on sale. So don't let refurbished get to you as well, because I'll talk more about that in a second too. Next, you have your eco tanks. Eco tanks were established last year as well. They were kind of supposed to be like a more ink saving thing, less messy, no cartridge like the Workforce series, because they come in little specs where you have to put the ink in it. It can be messy. So you do have 22 different versions of the Eco Tank series that you can also use for sublimation. You have the 2500, 2550, 2600, 2650, 2700, 2720, 2750, 2760, 3600, 3700, 3710, 3750, 3760, 4500, 4550, 4700, your 4750, your 4760, And the most popular ones have been the wide format. Like I said, the wide format ones allow you to print up to a 19-inch. Are 15,000s and 16,500s, your 16,600 and your 16,60. So those are your large formats. So you have 4 of those in your eco tape. Epson does have different Expression XP versions as well that you can convert. You don't hear a lot about people converting those Expression printers, so I don't know much about those. But there are about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those as well. They are regular printers. They may print up to at most a legal size, which is a 8.5 by 14 at most. But if you do that, like I said, those small printers will have you printing a lot of sheet, a lot of color, a lot of ink. So yeah, those are your different printers. Like I said, check out Epson if you are interested in doing those. Epson has a great rack of printers that can be converted. You also have your Sawgrass, which is a printer that is already for sublimation. So a lot of people do invest into the Sawgrass printers, but I don't have the money for those particular printers as they can be expensive, as I've heard the ink is also expensive. So if you are looking for a printer, maybe you can look into the Sawgrass, but if not, then definitely Epson can be something that you can look into as far as saving money. But well, let's kind of just go through this and see what it says. I have not been on the Sawgrass website. I have heard of the SG500. I don't know much about its cost, so it's so like you have to locate a dealer to even find it. So let's see what we have here. Georgia, coastal, kind of heat price is kind of high. Let's just see how much a printer costs. A Sawgrass sublimation printer. Pretty sure it's gonna run you a big chunk of change for there. The package is $549, and that's for a beginner package. I'm pretty sure the smallest printer you can get. That's $500. That includes your ink, and that's the SubleJet. So yeah, that's not within my price range. I'm not sure what you guys can afford. And like I say, it only prints up to a 14-inch. And I need that wide format printer. So that was not the course for me. A lot of people use that, but I don't personally. Like I said, I have an Epson. After we talked about the printers, you do have to have your ink. I do have different versions of ink myself. When I first started, Cosmos was just getting started pretty good, and his name was getting known, so he was sold out, and there was like a wait on the ink, and I didn't want to wait. So I went to Etsy, and I found this company called the Printer Ink Source. And basically I bought the little kit. It was like 50, 60 bucks. It comes with 4 bottles of ink. You get your basically your CYMK, which is your C is blue, your Y, your magenta, and then your black. With those kits, it does come with your syringes. These are not meant to do anything. They're not like regular needle things anyway, so they're blunt tips. So they don't do anything to harm anybody, but I still keep one for my child. So they come with those kits as well. I do have Cosmos ink. Like I said, it has been a popular brand. I bought this back in Black Friday. The only reason I have not opened it is because I still have ink that I purchased before. As you can see, the only one I'm running out of is my black, which is about empty. It's probably about right here at the bottom. I do print a lot of black items. So I need to purchase more black. But other than that, I have ink to last me for a little bit. But when you do buy from Cosmos as well, it does come with your syringes. Tips are also in there. I got the 4-pack color. Ink separate by itself is usually like $12 a bottle. Isn't bad. You can get a good bit of printing out of each of the bottles. But definitely check him out. Here is a look at his page. Like I said, cosmos-ink.com. But if you just type in Cosmos Ink, it will take you to his page. There are different sublimation inks. He has them for the Epson printers, all the Sawgrass, the Eco tanks. He has your cartridge to put in your printers, as well as sublimation ink, fluorescent ink that gives it a more pop and shine. And then he has this pigment ink, which is basically like regular ink, but it's more vibrant. So I am going to try that out at one point in time. Like I said, the ink isn't very expensive. You have to buy the kit itself for $75, or you can get the refills for $12. And this will be the same thing for the sublimation ink for the Epson printer. It's about $12 for the refill. That's for all your ecos. There's your $12 thing there. Your conversion kit is $75 to just get you started. And then he also has that cartridge for your Sawgrass, which each cartridge is $44. So like I said, that ink for that thing can get expensive. So like I said, it's up to you and your preference on what you do prefer. But my ink does work pretty good. Sublimation paper. Paper can be purchased anywhere. There are some companies that have a better brand as far as getting the color release off to you. I am in the process of getting my own paper developed, which will be letter size, basically all 4 sizes, but I am trying different versions. I have been testing paper, and when I say my color has been nice as far as the release, I'm trying to see if I have a transfer that I pulled off. I thought I saved one just for this live, but I may have already tossed it when I was getting rid of stuff. Oh, here it goes. So I was testing my paper as well as another company, no name, but this is the other company's paper after release. As you can see, you can still see all the color on the paper. But I'm looking for most of that to come off because I don't even want you to see what I use for color. So I did my paper, as you can see, no name on the back, just blue, but I'm testing. And that color came off that bad boy. You can't even tell basically what color it was. So here are the two together. And as you can see, there is a big difference just looking at the bottom. So this here is what I'm looking for. I want you to pull all that color off on your paper so you can have all that vivid color on your image, on your item. That's what I'm looking for. So like I said, I'm still testing them. This is another one. I did a tumbler. As you see, it pulled it off. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want you to be able to tell what colors are even in the picture if you didn't see the image. So like I said, I'm in the process of doing that. But currently, while I am testing, I do have 3 different sets of paper that I am using. I have Crafting Besties. It's okay. Like I said, the ink release is great. It's just what I'm looking for as well. So I am looking at that, but I love how they package the item in this nice professional box. So that's nice. I also have Koala, which is my 11 by 17 paper. It's good as well. It does a job. I don't have any issues with it. Color release isn't what I'm really looking for, but like I said, it still gives off what it's supposed to. But this Koala, don't let anybody tell you different. In my opinion, this works just as good as any other paper. So if this is all that you can afford, do what you have to do. Don't let anybody tell you different because it does work if you know what you're doing. But this is basically just a baby version of A-Sub. A-Sub is the owner of this company. So if you go to A-Sub, you'll see Koala paper. Like I said, it's the same paper. And if you know anything about manufacturing, most of the time they use the same thing and put a different name on the back. But I could be wrong. But like I said, in my opinion, Koala works wonders. And then I do have my BP paper. This does sell out pretty quickly. So if you are looking to get that paper, and you have to get that and jump on it. But I have this. It does wonders as well. It's good. It's good. No complaints. Well, I will say this. It does get stuck on my printer sometimes. But it may shoot up 2 or 3 pages at one time. I'm not sure why it sticks together like that, but sometimes it may, but no big deal. I just undo it, put paper back in it. Yeah, there we go. So that's all for the paper. Number 4, you will need Sublimation Blanks. I am a Sublimation Blanks owner. I have my own personal online store where you can purchase your blanks. Just to show you a few things that I do have. I have journals, I have mugs, I have stoves, I have lots of keychains, I have phone blanks, I have credit card holders, I have the little angel pendant that you put in your car, I have jewelry. I had tumblers, but I'm currently sold out of tumblers at this time. I have sequin pillows, which I will have to get as they are in my storage. I don't keep those inside because there's so many and they're so big. I have sequin pillows, I have satin pillows, so I have a little bit of everything. But these are some of the blanks. They come as in the little pack. I have phone grips. I have the angel wing holders that you basically put your loved one's picture in the middle and you hang it from your car, like a car ornament. I also have the angel wing necklace that you basically put your loved one's picture inside there. I have your credit card wallet holder that you basically put your keychain. It comes with a key ring. A mom photo. Like I said, I have journals that come with paper and everything that's included at a size A5. So I have a different variety of stuff. I'm getting Tasha's, I know looking for t-shirts. I'm about to say I'm getting paper. So we're trying to expand slowly and we'll have more videos for you guys to purchase whenever you are ready to try or however you would like to do this. Next, like I say, you will need a computer or a tablet. It does not matter what type of computer, as long as it's a newer computer up to date and is it meets the requirements of the programs that you are trying to use. So that does not matter. Heat press, heat press, heat press, heat press. Yes, it's fun and dandy if you have an easy press, but an easy press is not the same thing as a heat press. It does not give off the same quality. I'll take that back. It gives off the same quality if you work hard enough for it. Keyword, work hard enough for it. I ain't trying to work that hard. So I'm going to easy route. I'm going to go here and get this heat press that shows that, go ahead. I want to get the heat press where I can just put the whole item there and put that thing down and let it press out itself. I don't want to sit there and hold it down in section. Okay, I got 9 by 12 and put it right here. Okay, doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna put it down, let it handle, let it do its own pressure, and we're gonna go from there. I have a fancier studio heat press. I bought my heat press from eBay. It was refurbished. I think I got it for like $150. It was like $200 after taxes and shipping. But like I said, it was no big deal. Be careful with this. It was just what works for you in your pockets. I was scared at first to do refurbished, but I do a lot of research. So when I read it and it said refurbished is fine, usually they fix all the issues, no issue. I had this thing almost 2 years now. It done fell off my desktop. It done did a lot of damage and it's still working and I have no issue. I even checked it for pressure issues to see if it works, and everything is still on point. I have a 15 by 15 heat press, which is basically this one. This is almost the exact same one I do have. Just to give you a look at it, like I said, it is a 15 by 15. The price is $200 right now. When I initially started buying my heat press, they were like $250 for the 15 by 15. But this is a great beginner. A great beginner size for anyone looking to do heat press or vinyl. This is a great beginner size. I am looking to invest into the 16 by 24, which is this one here. Consider the price is $389. That way I can just kind of do my underwear, which I also do sell as well. I can do my underwear and things all in one press, or if I do decide to do it all over press, I can do it in 2 presses versus 4 or 5. But that's what I'm looking for in the future. I think Latasha has either the 16 by 24 or 16 by 20, so she already has a bigger heat press size, as you did see in her video, kind of on her setup. So it's up to you, kind of what works for your pockets. But like I said, the 15 by 15 is recommended. Some people do the 9x12, but you'll see that you're going to easily grow out of that 9x12 because it's going to be a lot of extra work for you to do to kind of get a lot of your things done, especially if you're doing t-shirts. And if you think about doing a t-shirt for an adult, sometimes you have to go up to an 11-inch design. And if your press is only 9x11, you can't do a full 11x11 press because you don't have any space. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is your heat presses. A lot of people buy them from Amazon. If you get a good deal on Amazon from like a fancier studio, then that's okay. But if you go on Amazon and get one of those cheap ones from China because it comes with 5 attachments, you'll be highly disappointed because that thing gonna either break the pen because it's gonna pop on you because you're gonna keep going on that pressure and they can't handle it. So that little pen gonna pop, or it's just gonna short out. So go ahead and make a nice investment into one that you know is gonna work. The 5 attachments you may not even use. They come with a hot plate, a cap. I don't do caps right now, and maybe something I want to look to in the future, but right now I don't do them. Hot plates, I don't even make plates, so I don't see the use of that one. So like I said, it's up to you and your pockets. So my recommendation, stay away from them China made ones. Don't do it. One more thing I did want to touch on when it comes to your heat press. There are different kinds of heat press. I have a clamshell. I like my clamshell. It's sturdy. It stays in place. I know the pressure points. But at the same time, I have burned myself on my clamshell because when I try to go and put a shirt up under there, I go to the top I go too close to that top plate and I burn my hand. Some people have the swingaways. I don't like the swingaways because I feel like it can easily lose its balance as it's turning and it's just gonna flip over. You're really gonna have a big old mess. But like I said, some people like that. I don't like it. You have to have extra space for that. My clamshell sits in a square and it don't move. But let that swing around, you got to have space for it to swing all the way around to the back and then come back to the front. But the good thing about a swing away is you don't have to worry about burning yourself because you have a lot of workspace on the top to do that. Your preference. I want one that has an auto drawer. I have seen someone on Facebook said they converted their own their own heat press to an auto draw. I want to know how to do that, but it looks like a lot of work. So I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but right now, this clamshell going to do what it's going to do until I invest in something else. As stated, you will need heat tape. So let me show you that. Here is your heat tape. Let me get to it. Come on, go away. I can't even see under that chat. Okay, here's my heat tape. This is what I purchased. As you see, back in September 2020. $8.99. I got 5 different rolls. I love this thick one, especially when it comes to tumblers. But all my different sizes, they come in handy. You can buy this heat tape from anywhere. But like I said, if you want a quick shipment, Amazon is here for you. But excuse me, y'all. They came out of nowhere. I am so sorry. This is the tape dispenser that I was suggesting here. $10.99. Basic little one. It holds up to like a 2-inch core. So it does its wonder. I got 2 for the price of 1. So I can't complain. But if you want to buy that, you can get 2 rolls of tape and the tape dispenser for $15. Good choice. You will also need heat gloves. I have these heat gloves. They're okay. They're a little thick for my hands, but they work. And my son loves to play with them. I am going to invest in some other ones, some thinner ones, kind of something like this, which is what a lot of people have seen. But they are pink ones, not those particular ones. But just looking to some good heat gloves for you that fit you in your hand, in your pockets. Butcher paper. Butcher paper is a requirement because depending on the paper that you use, there may be a burst of ink to come out the backside when it does get activated by the heat. You will also use butcher paper at the bottom of any substrate or item that you sublimate, because when you put that image down, when you have that bleed on the outside, anything that does not go on the image does come down because that pressure from that top heat plate is going to come down and close that gap. So anything that's not covered will be sublimated. And if you don't have that butcher paper down on your plate, then your plate is going to be covered in all different colors. And then whatever you press after that will take that color as well, because the heat will activate and come back up. So always use butcher paper on the bottom. And depending on the paper that you have, use butcher paper on the top. Blank smaller paper does not require extra butcher paper on top, but like I said, you must have it on the bottom to protect your plates. So I do like it about that. My new paper, you do not have to have butcher paper. So I like that as well. Like I said, just trying different things. We've already talked about the heat resistant gloves. That's your butcher paper here. Different prices. This one here is about $14. This is a smaller roll, but you can get it from Sam's Club as well. A bigger roll for about $20, I want to say. So it depends on what you can afford, how soon you want it, how soon you can get it. My local Sam's is about an hour, maybe 45 minutes away from me. So it was just beneficial for me to order for Amazon. I got it here like next day, because I'm a Prime member as well. So maybe that's something you can look into. Some people say that it's not required, but it is nice to have a butcher paper stand. I have a stand. A lot of people, I'll show you what they're looking for, have the butcher paper metal stand. I don't have that roll dispenser because, as you can see, these roll dispensers are not cheap. This is $35 for a 24-foot one, and it's metal, it's hard, it's clunky. I don't have that. I bought one from IKEA, if I can find it. Paper cutter, and it works wonders. This paper holder with storage, like, this is all I needed, and I got what I needed, and I have no worries for it. And then you see the price, $10. So I saved myself $20 by even getting this paper. I put my roll on it, everything just slides in, and I pull it out, and boom. If you hold the top thing, it cuts for you. So that's all I could ask for, and I got what I needed. So like I say, just do research, do what works for you. Software. I have tried different software. I've tried using a few different things. I don't use Photoshop because I can't afford Photoshop. Photoshop is a monthly subscription, and I'm not looking for a monthly subscription. I was looking for a one-time payment thing. So Photoshop was not for me, but you can also, anybody can purchase Photoshop. There are lots of tutorials out and available for Photoshop. So if that's something that you are looking forward to, or you are already advanced in Photoshop, then you can look into doing Photoshop. That's your choice. There's also, let me go back. Adobe has a number of different products that you can buy. There's Illustrator, Photoshop. So it just depends on what you want. I have Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. Right now, they were running a promotion for half off for a one-time purchase fee, $25 each program. My photo, I can use my Affinity Photo to remove background. $25 one time, boom, done. My Affinity Designer, I use that to design, to manipulate, to basically do color contrast and colors. Like, I do it for a lot of different things. I love it. I love it. $25 one. I'm sorry, I paid $50 for Affinity because I paid for it before the promotion. But I love it. I don't complain about it. I can't say anything about it. Some people use CorelDRAW. I have not used it. I have not tried to use it. Don't want to use it. I'm all set. I have 4 different design programs that I use. I have Cricut Design Space. I have Silhouette Business Edition. I have Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer. Like I said, a Cricut Design Space, it comes with your Cricut machine. You have to have that machine to even access their stuff. So it's not like you do with the Silhouette machine. But just to tell you a little bit about my story, I do have 2 different machines. That is what I invested myself into. When it comes to Cricut Design Space, During the pandemic, it was a very trying time. Everybody was sitting at home. I was still working though. Everybody was sitting at home. They were crafting. Everybody was getting into the crafting world. And I don't think Design Space can handle everything that it was given. I don't think it was ready. Every time you try to go and do a big project, Design Space would not work. It would come up. It would just load. It would load and load. It wouldn't save. It wouldn't print. When you try to print, it would just crash. It was a nightmare. So after about the 5th time of that happening to me and me about to lose an order, I was like, I can't keep doing this to myself. So I spoke with my other half, and he was like, why not just don't go ahead and buy another machine that you can have a backup as to kind of save you that time and that space. Okay, cool. So I went and bought the Silhouette Cameo 4. I had already been using the Silhouette Studio because it's a free software that you can use to design things. And the designing tools that are in Silhouette are so much better than Cricut Design Space. Usually beforehand, Cricut would not allow you to kern fonts. You couldn't do offsets. You couldn't do any of that. But with Silhouette free design, I'm sorry, with Silhouette, you could have. So what I was doing in the beginning, I had my Cricut and I purchased the Silhouette software. So I was using Silhouette software to design, exporting, and then going back to Cricut to cut it because Cricut has very construct, like their cuts are, nobody else can touch it right now, in my opinion. So that's what I was doing. But after a while, I was like, this is too much. So I went ahead and got a machine. Because my main reason of buying that Silhouette Cameo 4 is a print and cut. If you have a Cricut machine and you're on Design Space, you probably notice that you can only cut, I think it's like a 9 by 6.5 image on the print and cut. That ain't gonna work. If I got a print and cut for an adult shirt, what am I gonna do with a 9.5 inch Design Space? What is that? Why can I not do what I want to do and get it done? So because of that particular issue there, my Cameo, I can print whatever size I want, whenever I want, and however I want. It's gonna print what I say print. That's what I want to hear. That's what I like. That's what we're gonna do. So that's what I did. I bought that, and it has been a godsend. So I do use both machines depending on what I'm doing at that time. I use my Cricut, like I said, to do precise cuts, my vinyl cuts, my permanent vinyl, sometimes HTVs. There are small fonts. I do use it for that, but if it's anything other than that, I'll do my Silhouette. I am still learning my Silhouette, as I have almost cut my mat a few times, so I am still learning how that Silhouette cutting thing works, as it's supposed to be like an auto cut feature, but I don't know how my auto cut working because it be cutting too deep. So that's where I stand with that. GIMP, I tried GIMP for a little bit. It is a huge learning curve. I am a very techie person. I like to tinker around with the computer, so that's my kind of thing. But GIMP and Inkscape, it was going to take me so much time to get that software down pat. I just don't have the time or the energy to give to it to learn what I wanted it to do. So I took the shortcuts. Affinity came along. I was introduced that by the group that I was following, and like I said, it's been a heaven send. Procreate, I don't use that. That is mainly used for designers. I don't use it, but like I said, I have 4. I have Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer. Affinity Designer is my main, but if I'm doing like a vinyl cut, then I will use my Silhouettes, or should I have the Cameo 4, or my Cricut Design Space, which I have the Air Explorer 2, Explorer Air 2 or something like that. But that's what I have. So like I said, the software is kind of your choice, kind of what you want to do. There are a number of different ways that you can go with that. It just depends on what you want to do. Like I said, if you're looking for a one-time payment thing, then Affinity is your way to go. But if you want to do a monthly subscription, Adobe has lots of different products that you can use. There are some people that use Canva to do their designing, and then they go back and cut it and print another thing. I use Canva for mainly like my social media posting. I haven't used it for anything other than that, but it is a good thing to go through as well. They do have free versions, and then they have the monthly subscriptions, and then they have a yearly version. I pay $12.99 a month. I did just recently pause it because I haven't been using it, but like I said, that's your choice. Everything is kind of up to you. When it comes to sublimation, the opportunities are unlimited. The designing is unlimited. So if you want to get more into the designing part, I would say first get the sublimation part down first, and then we can go as far as getting that done. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, we're ready to get out started. I kind of give you the rundown of what you need to get started with sublimation. Latasha has already done a video on a tie-dye shirt, so you can kind of look at that to kind of get started. But I will come back another time, and I'll show you a small project. Thank you. Have a great day, y'all.